good? 2 minutes gone past the hour of 9, and we are back here ready to do what we know how to do best. Just gone by, there's the program NDDC and You, the magazine program, courtesy of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Of course, it talks about what the NDDC is doing, as well as spotlight some other issues around the region. And we're ready to do what we know how to do best, of course, talk about critical issues. Wednesdays, you know, we focus more on Akwa Ibom related matters. And my guest is already seated in the studio, ready to do justice to the conversation this morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Talk. And my guest this morning, without delay, I'm just going to go straight to it, and then we can see how much grounds we can cover with the issues we have to talk about here in Akwa Ibom State. My guest is the State Director, Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network, Otwekon Franklin Song, ready to suyo with me. Otwekon, good morning.
Good morning, Captain of the Flight. Good morning, listeners. Happy Wednesday and compliment of the season.
Indeed, we're counting 21 more days before Christmas.
Yep.
Otwekon, without delay, it's a state of the state, and we usually talk about issues in and around Akwa Ibom. The last time you've been on a particular trajectory for weeks now, giving us updates about the state of the roads, state of refuse, state of the street lights, and some other issues. We're going to first off start off with the updates because you came here to count the potholes. You came here also to give us update about the potholes, the ones that have been fixed and the ones that have not been fixed. And I'd like to ask you, after the last update you gave us, have you gone around town? Is there any other update you have, at least I can, put smiles on our face with regards to the potholes?
I think today I want to call it a day of Thanksgiving. If you like, you will ask me what am I thanking God for, or what are we celebrating today?
Obviously,
I want to thank the governor of Akwa Ibom State for being a listening governor. I recall that this program has been of tremendous help, call it, to the government by way of when we profile, solutions here. When we come up here with advocacies, the government will respond, and this has added value to the governance of the state. Why I tag this outing a day of Thanksgiving is because when I sit back to recap from the emergence of the governor, from the first day he took office, we started with the issue of climate change, remember, and we advocated that someone should be appointed to, man that particular sector, and instantly the governor appointed someone to be his SA on climate change. We came up with the issue of food crisis in the state and advocated that the government should do something about it. The governor not just appointing a PA or SA on the market to look at activities in the market, he also went ahead to have the bulk purchase agency, which 2 weeks ago had rounded up the event of distributing food items. I got a report, though my men weren't there, but from what we gathered, they had combed the entire state distributing food items to the poorest of the poor, and the list that was used came from the SOKU, that is the social register that they got. I did my findings, and I can tell you that it was successful, and those who were on the list, captured on the list, actually got what they deserved. Then we went further to the issue of potholes, which I wanted to save for the last. But the issue of the potholes, since I've said it, if you recall that we raised an issue that there was a gully that was eaten into a particular street just shortly after, I think, Pastor Ebed Amina's church. There is a street there, the end of it, that gully was almost consuming the entire, caving in entire street. I think the governor went there and instantly he ordered that emergency job be commenced. We raised the issue of flooding at Akwa Ibom, if you recall as well. We raised it here. When it was flooded, we went there, we came up with pictures and the rest. The governor responded, and that particular problem have been addressed. The issue of potholes, we've been on it for the past 3 or 4 outings. The governor has been responding to it. Just 2 days ago, I got an information from a very reliable source that the governor has directed that all potholes in the state should be cleared off. That is Operation Zero Pothole. And it has been, that is a marching order the governor has given. Someone who is close to the system told me that 3 weeks ago at an event in Ibiano, it did not even end there. And then 2 days ago, I got an information. But before then, we also have gone around to see that there is rapid response. Potholes have been properly patched now. If you enter in Sika Walk, if you go to the 4 lanes, the axis that we have raised in the 4 lane, the service lane, that is at Erekwan Avenue, that we have been discussing here, I think they were patching it, and they are still on it. If you enter Atiku now, it's done. So there is that rapid response to it. When I come here to talk, I am fulfilled that the fuel that I put in my car to come and talk here has been justified, that the government respond to it. The issue of refuse dump, of course, the last time we talked about it here, the governor went and flagged off, I think, some equipment that will aid activities of the agency ASEMA under Prince Ikim. And then this, for me, is a plus, an applause to the government, and is an applause to Passion FM and to the morning flight, that we come here and do state of the state, and the governor takes the record of what we are saying here and respond to it. You recall we had the issue of fuel crisis when Ipman, suspended supply of petrol in the state. We are here to talk about it, and we made an advocacy that someone should be appointed to head the task force that should be able to give us good responses. And that same day, the governor set up a committee of petroleum monitoring task force and appointed someone. And by today, I can tell you that we have stability of supply of petroleum products. I came here to say that I bought fuel at a particular station, and I drove from that station to my office. The tank almost went empty, and that was corroborated by someone who also called in to say he also bought fuel and also had the same experience. I engaged the chairman of the task force, that is Obong Godwin Ekpo, who also confirmed that his wife also bought fuel from the same station and had the same experience, and that he was taking it up with the station. 2 days ago, I bought fuel from there, and the difference has been the case. And so you could see that when each time we come here to talk, we talk and we also profile solutions to aiding the good governance of the state. That is why I tag today's outing, Thanksgiving outing, because all we have been advocating here, it is good that when we advocate and there are responses, there is need to come back here to say there's actually response and commend the government for responding. The government could have just simply ignore us, and we will talk and go. I will come here, talk and go, and no actions will be taken. We've had that even at the federal level. When you come, you advocate on issues, topical issues, both on television, the government will ignore you. But here we are, when we advocate an issue, there is response. Any issue that we have advocated has been addressed. So for me, it's a thumbs up for the government. Coming down here, I saw the busy traffic flow along Udoma. That simply means that the Christmas village has commenced. When I said commencement of the season, that is what gave me that reminder that we are now in the festive season. Last night while I was going home, the entire stretch of the Udoma has become very busy because of the Christmas village activities. And you know that local government will now be bringing their cultural display to showcase at the event. I saw a rundown of the list of local government, how they will carry out their display of cultural activity. And for me, it's going to boost the economy of the state. Recall that last year the price of shops were high. We came here to raise an issue that the prices of the stores for the shops were high. This year the governor has intervened. I personally went there to visit the environment and came up with a stand that the prices should be reduced. I think to 100,000 naira, right? And 100,000. And the governor also made a case to say if anyone buys a shop and resell to some other person at a high cost or whatever, once matter is brought to his attention, the right of ownership of that shop will be revoked. The governor is very practical about it. this is the first time the governor would visit the Christmas village and, you know, partake in the flag off, despite the fact that he was mourning his late wife. He went there and still flag off the exercise, showing that he attaches attention or importance to the Christmas village activities. Now, what again do I want to say? To say thank you for responding to all our advocacies.
Maybe one more thank you.
Okay.
That is, if you will consider it another thank you. You'll recall that the labor unions in Akwa Ibom
yes, the NLC.
they were already warming up for a strike.
Yes.
Yesterday, that was averted when they reached an agreement with the government. So you want to give another thank you?
I think, like I said, the governor is one person that has been responding to, you know, issues of public concern. When the NLC issued the warning strike, the notice of strike, the NLC chairman sent it to me, and I read it. And that same day, the governor came up with a broadcast thanking, you know, everyone for, you know, gracing the burial of the First Lady, and also showing gratitude to everyone. Even in that broadcast, the governor had to, you know, acknowledge the fact that the NLC had issued a notice of strike, and he appealed to NLC to allow that action be taken. NLC was simply asking that agreement be signed. That they gave a notice that if agreement is not signed or not before, I think Tuesday also, that by today they will commence the strike action. But yesterday, the NLC chairman again sent me another notice thanking, now becoming a thanksgiving, that the governor has responded to it. So when you have a government that is responsive, that is proactive, it makes you happy that when issues of public concern or public interest are raised, the governor himself will attend to it. You recall that we also have an issue which skipped me, the issue of the 22 house officer, medical attaché, those people who did their medical housemanship at the University of New Teaching Hospital. After their service, they were short paid. You recall that we took up the issue up to, you know, engaging the head of service, engaging the SSA to the governor on I think on medical services. He came at the end of the day. The governor himself took interest in it and ordered that the payment of those medical workers, those medical doctors, be, you know, released, and they were released. So my outing today, like I said, is Thanksgiving, is because taking stock of the advocacies we have used this channel to put out in the state and how they have been responded to is something that is worth thanking the governor, thanking the government for being responsive.
All right, thank you also for that one. It's also very important that we look at the issue of the budget, because that in itself is another matter that I see that people have been talking about and people are also interested about. I have read from some quarters with regards to concerns around the budget, and perhaps we'll talk about it for a bit and see if there's any reason for concern as to the concerns raised, which I'm sure you must have stumbled by, about the budget for 2025.
Talking about the budget, day before yesterday, the Center for Human Rights was given a copy of the proposed budget, which I have here with me, and a letter of invitation by the House of Assembly Committee on Appropriation and Finance, inviting us to a public hearing on the matter. The budget, as it were, as it's written here, I don't think that there will be time for me to give a breakdown until when we are done with the public hearing. By Monday, I'll be here on Wednesday to be able to tell you what we have seen. What I acknowledge, what I see is I think I see a budget that when it is passed, on the flip side, it will be able to add value to the economy of the state. So let's keep this for after Monday public hearing, because it is not good to lay the cat out of the bag. Let's allow it to be in wrap and keep our audience in suspense. Yes.
Well, it's also important, whilst we also, as you said, leave it to be properly and extensively deliberated on after the public hearing, because I know in that public hearing, every concern with regards to the budget will be addressed. It's also important that you add in that public hearing, which I want to believe that the media will also have the opportunity to be there. We can't do that live, obviously, because it would have to be paid for, but I know that is not in their consideration, so we'll probably have that in the news. So what I'm saying is budget performance is very key. We'll look at the issue of budget cycle and budget performance, because I know that there's one major problem we have as a country, which over time I have seen we do not query the performance of budgets. For whatever it is that has been allocated in the budget, whatever it is that has been set out for certain areas. For example, if we talk about infrastructural development and if we narrow it down to roads in the state, if we look at the budget, how much was apportioned for roads vis-a-vis the cycle? Did it perform to expectation? These are questions I'll be hoping with regards to the public hearing that you people will be querying when you engage the State House of Assembly. Especially, I am very particular about budget performance, so we don't keep giving monies for things that are never done, and nobody queries it, nobody asks questions. And when they tell you every year, we're going to put 2 billion for this, we're going to do 5 billion for this, we're going to do 20 billion for this, we should be able to get update of budget performance vis-a-vis what has been allocated for. What we go.
Yeah, I agree with you, quite frankly, because I have always been one person who believes that government must perform, and government must perform based on its budgetary provision. I stumbled on a report where the governor was, talking about the issue of budget, and he was simply advising the budget office that everything that will be added in the budget has to come through him. Let him be on the know. Because where he is not aware of an item in the budget, maybe a budget is padded, and the governor is not aware of what has been padded, and then that thing is not funded. That thing becomes, an unfulfilled item in the budget. It will affect the percentage of the budget performance. So the governor was simply calling on the budget office that whatever is in the budget, in fact, the governor, said he has moved the budget office to be under the governor's office. Simply put, so that every item that must be in the budget of the year, he has to know and also evaluate the essence of that item and know where it is cited and know what will be allocated for it and know the essence of it. Because you have items in a budget that is not actually of essential to the public, but they are there. And the government may not see the need to fund it. And that becomes part of the setback for the budget. Now, I think I stumbled on a report we are going for finance. My friend, Dr. Linus Nkan, said that the budget of 2024 had performed 25.6%. I think I discussed that here last time ago. And for me, that wasn't a good performance. So if you now look at what we are left over 550 something billion was returned back to the treasury of the state for items that were not that weren't funded. So you can now know why were those items not funded. These are part of the questions. If a budget is padded, I'm not saying that it is padded, but if it is padded, the government doesn't actually have essence of those need for those items that are included. Government may not want to fund it because it may not be in line with the government Arise agenda. Pick up the governor's booklet when they flagged off the Arise agenda. I think sometime in July. Yeah. In July. Yeah, look at the item. That was at the Ibom Icon Hotel. I was there. The center, the CHRAN we participated actively. Go and look at it. I think that was July. Look at the items that are there. That is the working plan of the government. That is the master plan that guides the government activity. That's what the government rely on as the bedrock of its, operations and foundation of all what he will do. So when you now bring an item that is not included in the government Arise agenda and you want the government to fund it, the government may not likely fund it, and that will be a setback to the budget. But then you want to now raise the budget or appraise the budget, you will say item A, B, C, D have not been funded, and the fund that were allocated will now be returned back to the treasury. But if those items were not included and other items that has that are of essence are included, you will see that the budget will actually performed because the government would fund those items because they align with the government Arise agenda.
And just to add to what you have also said, I think it's also very imperative that Akwa Ibom people are given updates because it is their money.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
it is their money. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
I'll let you take over. It is their money, so that when you tell them that, as I did give an example, I will always like to use the roads, okay? Infrastructural development, okay, which falls under, encapsulates the entire package, inclusive of the roads. So if you tell them that for fixing of the roads, you're budgeting, say, 300 million, we should be able to get update from the commissioner for works as to how much was given to him, the performance of that budget, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, down to Z or Z, whichever pronunciation you choose, of the roads mentioned to be worked on, and if those roads right, because Otuekong, I'll be very frank with you, I have a problem with budget performance, and that's why I took it up. A lot of times things are mentioned to be done in the budget, appropriation for it also given, but they're never done.
Okay.
And nobody asks questions. So that's why I'm talking about the budget performance. So Akwa Ibom can query letter by letter, line by line, number by number, item by item, whatever has been mentioned in the budget, so that it is done.
Yeah, let me help you. Let me help you in further, adding to your point. You see, you have the House Committee on every ministry and MDA. It is the duty of the House Committee to do an oversight, to also appraise it and ensure that they follow up with activities of various ministries. You recall that some time ago, the Center for Human Rights was part of a team that went around the state to see how the local government, were performing, and that actually paid off because that on its own, put the local government chairman on their toes. So I want to also call on the House of Assembly not to always wait until it is time for budget defense. You now begin to ask questions, but you can do an oversight, and you carry out an on-the-spot assessment. You also go and check. You also, because you are representing your people, you also have constituency meeting with your constituents. You also have town hall meetings with your people. You also engage them at various, fora and get what they want and put it up on the floor of the house. And then the one that would need to be funded by government, that is not just an advocacy, government will now take it up and fund. You engage the relevant government agencies. Part of what we do here would have been less if we have functional committees in the House of Assembly. I say this with due respect to the House of Assembly, that I have not seen in the past 1 year the House of Assembly committees now being actively engaging the respective ministries. I say this with utmost respect to the House of Assembly, but the truth is that they have to be engaging. Look at what the House of Reps is doing. The House of Reps last time came to the state and went to the Maritime Academy all the way from Abuja. They came down here and went to Toron to visit the institution. And I want to see the various House committees within the state of Assembly going around to various institutions, going around to the health sectors, going around to public schools, going around to facilities, going around to government projects that are in the budget being funded, and coming out to engage the agencies, to engage the MDAs. The governor will not tell you don't do it. In fact, it will help the government to perform maximally. But when the committees of the House of Assembly don't work and they expect the governor to have on A plus A and A and A and A in all projects, it's practically not possible. Like what we do here, we tell the government what the government need to do, what we have seen on the ground. This is what the Assembly ought to be doing. Part of their oversight function includes what we are doing here. But because it seems that the Assembly is not doing what they ought to do, that is why you see us always engaging the state.
And it's also important to add, with all due respect to everyone who deserves to be respected on this matter, that the various commissioners and heads of different ministries, agencies, and parastatals be forthcoming with information. You do not get angry when, say, for example, journalists ask questions, and there are some very investigative journalists, that will follow the budget. There's something called follow the money.
Of course.
They will follow the budget.
Tracking.
Yeah. And they will tell you that this was the amount of money appropriated for your ministry. And so when they begin to ask you questions with regards to budget performance on allocation of your ministry, I am asking my ogas, the commissioners, to please avail the media the opportunity to ask them questions and grill them, because they were not appointed to want chairs. They were not invited to drive big paddle jeeps. They were appointed to work. And so when the media and journalists begin to ask questions, don't pick offense. When we invite you to come on air and explain the money that they gave your ministry, Oga, come on air. If not, we go open your ash.
Well,
I'm sorry. Respect.
I like the fact that this is coming up. I have maintained here, I have said over time that the governor appointed these people. They are at the mercy of the governor. He appointed them with hope that they're going to assist and aid his government to succeed. I would like to see the person who doesn't want to pick my call. Let me call you. Let God help you. I call you. You don't pick my call when I want to ask you questions with respect to your agency or ministry. I use that word. May God help you that I call you to want to ask you questions.
Not just you. That people in the media.
No. I said me, Franklin, the song. I don't want to go to other persons now, because some persons may not even want to call because they will be afraid that if they call, the person may not pick. I said, may God help that particular commissioner or a chairman of an agency who has been appointed by the governor to serve the people of the state and who is being funded by taxpayers' monies, that I will call you as a taxpayer to want to ask you questions or raise queries seeking for answer, and you don't answer me. God will help you, because we are going to be in the media, in the public space. Because we've been here, truth about me is I don't patronize mediocrity. Once you have not performed, you are completely not performed. I will say it the way it is. And if you check, those we have called out in the couple of weeks are my close friends and brothers. That of Works is my brother from Karenin. He was the vice chancellor. I was his friend, brother from the same area. If for anything, I would have been the one to protect his office. So that is why I have to begin with my own brother. So that those who are not from Karenin should note that if he can do this to his own brother, his kinsman, his close friend from the same church, this from the same communion table, then he can do it to any other person. So God will help that person that I will call to want to ask you questions with respect to your functions as a public office holder, and you ignore my call and call my bluff. We'll be in the public to discuss you.
All right, thank you very much, Atwekong. And before we open up the phone lines and invite you, the listener, to be a part of the conversation, it's important to put on record, Atwekong, many times you've heard people say the kitchen is too hot.
I don't even think it's hot. You see?
No, I'm saying this because I'm in the media.
Yes.
And I say this from experience.
There
are a couple of those people that you call, and you want to, not be every call be brand. There are very, very content journalists who just want to find out information and feed the people. Our job is to feed the people, correct misconceptions. Because if you are not talking, you lead the people to assumptions.
Let me add this. There is what is called Afghanistan journalism.
Mm-hmm.
When a journalist seeks information from you and you don't, afford the opportunity for him to know, he goes to the press with what he knows and put it up there that every effort to get your side of the story proved abortive. That one line is an alibi. It creates an excuse for him. Take him to court. He has reached out to you to hear from you. So he now gives you opportunity to come and say your own. So the best thing, instead of you to want to be quoted as not responded to a call from a journalist or a text from a journalist, respond to him. I in the years of my active practice as a journalist, go and check the records. I go for DRN report. In 2012, I won 2 awards from NUJ. one as the best investigative reporter of the year, one as the best parliamentary reporter of the year, 2012. So I don't go for brand envelope like you call it. I don't go for peanuts. I spend my resources like I'm doing now to do investigative report that when it comes out, it contributes positively to the governance of the state. Severally, I did several earth-shaking reports that brought out things, that revealed things that the government did not want the public to know, and by so doing, it became earth-shaking. And the government will be forced to always do a press conference, to always come out with a press conference. I mean, you can check it from down to the day I stopped being actively, reporting or writing because of my busy engagement as an advocate of the CSO. I have always been engaging stakeholders and public office holders. I spend my resources. I could take a report for 3 months. I could do one report for 3 months.
I remember when you told us about the 99 potholes.
That's it.
Quite some time.
I could do a report for 3 months. I could do a report. I could spare resources, take my time. Why are you in a haste as a reporter to even publish your story? Take your time, gather your facts. I do documentary report. I do report that when it comes out, you don't have any loophole found in it as a journalist. And any day I still want to write, I still engage in such kind of activities because that is the only way it will distinct you as a reporter from the other reporters.
All right, thank you very much, Utwikon Franklin. And let's bring you into the conversation. We've given updates, and if you're an ardent listener of Passion FM, you know that Wednesdays we dedicate all our conversation strictly to what happens here in Akwa Ibom State. And Utwikon, and by extension, his organization, CHRAN, they've been doing a fantastic job in providing us with the information that we require. So let's bring you in, 0906 000 4945. Alternatively, 0906 000 5945. We'll do messages as well, 0906 000 9455. Do well as well to leave your message on our Facebook page and Passion 94.5 FM. When I get your message, I'll read them and acknowledge you. So let's take the first one. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
your name and where you're calling from, sir?
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Well, I'm very, very appreciative because, as my brother just said, I still went there to go and buy fuel, and the difference is changing. You know, you need to continue to talk so that this country can be better. Because if we don't say something, then people will not hear something. So I want to appreciate him very well. Even as yesterday, I passed through 4 lanes, and they have worked through that road very successfully. You drive very comfortable and fast, so you have no problem. So that is welcome development. So I want to appreciate that the callers are always call and complain. At the end of the day, the government listen and do their work. Okay? So that's my appreciation. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Black Boy. Let's bring this caller who's standing and waiting in the line as well. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Look at the demand that will provoke or
Bless you too, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome. We don't know who you are, sir. Tell us who you are.
My name is Comrade Akwa.
Yes, sir.
Sir, the truth is this. You can't keep 8 commissioners or 10 for 10 years. Doing the same thing all the time and expecting a change is a lie. Right from 8 years ago, government of Akwa Ibom has never attached the cost of finances to projects, so that one will be able to trace, number one. Number two, even the Freedom for Information Bill,
Yeah, the FOI Act.
is not even,
It's not respected.
Sir, the truth is that if the governor wants to succeed and do the right thing, the governor should really want those people that the CHRAN is secrecy. They have been running government like they invest for 10 years in a government, and we are not complaining what I'm wondering. My brother, my comrade, thank you for what you are saying, but the truth there is, let us take this problem from the roots. If we don't
Thank
go
you.
to the roots, we cannot
Thank you.
just put oil on top of water.
All right. All right, sir.
Let them go. Let that and the government to go. Rotate what of this is so amount. We will, and these are the designs.
All right.
So the that does not carry the proper design,
Okay.
we will go and query
All
whether
right.
the gutter.
All right.
So it's supposed to be too late. Why is it 1 day?
Okay. Well,
They
thank.
should not run government by secrecy. Let
All
them
right.
be open to the people so that we can ask questions.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kamba Awa, for contribution to the conversation. We'll take another one here. Hello, good morning.
So good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir.
Yes, I'm calling from you.
Okay.
Okay. I want to thank the governor for
All the things I've done in Akwa Ibom State so far. I'm talking about the issue of minimum wage or signing it into law or giving it consent. I think what the labor was actually looking for, not only signing it to law, but the implementation of the minimum wage. When the governor wants to implement or to start implementation of the new minimum wage, because the deadline was December.
Well, I told you that the salaries, if you listened in the morning when I was reviewing the papers, I read the communique, that press release from Labour, stating that it is to commence from this month, and then the arrears
of November.
certain benefits, they will come from on or before the end of February 2025. I read that this morning. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, sir. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Morning, sir. Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hey,
Good morning,
but
sir.
you complete.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Kajoke.
Gandoki, go ahead.
Yes, I want to talk very quick, sir. I am witnessing the passing of the fallen here. As rightly the first caller said, everybody is now is possible now. Everybody is moving on. That is proactive government that we are looking for. Thumbs up for him. He is doing well in that sector. Now, to echo, we talk about the minimum wage over here in the Akwa Ibom State, 80,000 naira, well approved by His Excellency Waymo. It's a welcome development. But how do we know the implementation committee? When will they come up? Because
They don't need a committee, my brother. That implementation starts from this month. They don't need a committee. That is a categorical policy statement. It starts from this month. No committee for that one.
all right, it's a welcome development if it is starting from this month. Because all what we were expecting, the issue of ghost workers, my brother, is behind that, is behind the inquiry. If they can succeed, and they say that it's going to commence this month, sir, I am giving another kudos for Umoino for doing that. We can't wait to see that. And another one is that, my brother Osweko, you have said it all. If we have such proactive government like this in our state, we wouldn't have asked.
All right, Gandoki. Gandoki, your time.
Yeah, let me down, please. The federal government has settled Akwa Ibom State by keeping a location. He said, go and take care of your people.
All right, Gandoki, your time is up. Gandoki, thank you. Thank you very much, Gandoki. Your time is up. Your time is up. Thank you.
Yeah, just to clarify the issue of the minimum wage. I'm quoting from the NLC press statement so as to shed more light so we don't also misinform the public. I think second paragraph says that the minimum wage is effective 1st November 2024. And since
But
salaries...
because the salaries of November has been paid.
I'm coming, let me just run through. And since salaries had already been paid for November 2024, the differential arrears shall be paid on or before the end of February 2024. So it simply put that 225 rather.
Yeah, I already read
225. Yeah, simply put that the effective date of the commencement of the minimum wage is November, last month, 1st November. But since I have been paid for November, the differential will now be paid before the end of February 2025.
And I also added a JARA that aside getting the 80K, they will also get a number.
A number, yeah.
Yeah,
The governor,
which the governor has also talked about.
Yeah, the governor even adopted this from the past government that we used to have, third month salary. And it is good to be innovative. It is good to be creative. It is good to also have human sympathy and empathy. One thing I can say of the government of Pastor Moino is the empathy side of it. You recall when one of our daughters, I think makeup artist, involved in both mishap.
That's the
somewhere.
when they went to shoot
Abigail somewhere.
And they
Yeah.
saw Junior Pope die.
Yeah, Junior Pope also died in that particular act. The governor, went to the visit of the family in Eket, and also ordered that one of the siblings be absorbed in the service and take care of the family and the rest. And the governor has been going around building this what is it called again? Compassionate homes. And there was a lady that donated a land for her fellow neighbor to be who didn't have a space for that home to be built for her. The governor said that lady that donated the land also should be given her own apartment, and it was built for her. So you could see the act of compassion and empathy. So what I want to say is that on the issue of compassion and empathy, I found it very, very open and rare. And it is happening in this government that we have empathy government that has the human face. And talking about the issue of pension and gratuity, like I said, today is the day of Thanksgiving. Don't blame me if I'm bringing up all these issues, because today you could see the callers are also joining us in the praise and worship section.
Indeed, it is a praise and worship session. Let's do some commercials. When we come back, we'll take messages and calls. Stay tuned.